Hi, welcome to another episode of Overlanding with Bruce. Unfortunately, I'm not in the bush at the moment. I'm driving around Joburg in a rainstorm. So you probably hear windscreen wipers and noise and everything. So apologies for that. But it is an old Defender after all, so it is quite noisy. So I've got some news to share with you guys. I've bought probably the most controversial and most talked about car in recent times. It's been out in the market for about a year, and many Defender diehards hate this vehicle with a passion. They say it should be the new Discovery, whatever. I bought it and I'm going to be using it for overlanding, and yeah, I can just hear some of you laughing your heads off right now, but I think a lot of our overland trips are mostly on tar roads. If you haven't seen my latest episode of our Botswana trip, we did about 2,500 kilometers, and about, I would guess, 70% of that was on tar roads. So is it really necessary to have a rough and tough 4x4? Certainly we've got to watch out for fuels, because in Africa there's some dirty fuels, and you don't want your high-tech modern 4x4 to get damaged from low quality fuel. I've been arguing with myself for about a year about this new Defender. I originally traded my last vehicle in, or sold it through Land Rover, and then I cancelled because of COVID. And then I thought, no, it's not really suitable. Then I thought it was suitable, and read the forums, and there's a lot of hate, and a lot of people are saying it's for the new Metro Mail or something like that. And it's not suitable for traveling off-road, and it's got 20-inch wheels, and it's got this, and it's got plastic, and all this sort of thing. So, you know, I think gone are the days where we have to do these far off the beaten track trips where you're bushwhacking and breaking down trees and driving through long grass. I mean, I certainly haven't done one of those trips in ages. So the challenge is that I'm going to be using the new Defender for overlanding. I will be putting a dual battery system on it. I will be working out how to carry water, and then I'll also be fitting a rooftop tent for those solo trips. So when I say solo trips, I'm talking about trips where I travel alone and the family stays at home, which I do probably once or twice a year, which just to get away and have a break. Most of the family trips we will tow an off-road trailer. So that solves my water problem, because the trailer carries 150 litres of water. Another problem that people claim is that, you know, we always used to work by the rule that you need to get about 1,000 kilometers of fuel range. And I think sometimes that's still true, but the majority of the time it's not necessary. The idea about the next series of episodes, if you'd like to call it that, is that I'm going to be getting the vehicle ready for our first overland trip, which hopefully, if COVID allows, will be to Zimbabwe, Ghana in about February 2022. The plan is that we're going to go up to Great Zimbabwe Ruins and then to Ghana. And we've been planning this trip for about 2 years, and COVID has got in the way every time. And we'll be handing out soccer balls to underprivileged communities and schools. So if you want to get involved and you want to donate a soccer ball, I'd really appreciate that. We've got about 50 soccer balls so far that people have donated. Tracks for Africa have donated some prizes, so every now and then I'll be doing some lucky draws with those prizes. There's some maps, there's some books on Botswana and Namibia, so really nice prizes. Thank you, Johan from Tracks for Africa. And then we'll see who else we can get on board. There's been a few of my mates that have said they're keen to join on the trip, but my two daughters and their boyfriends will definitely be joining in some Suzuki Jimneys. So the whole new Land Rover thing, or new Defender thing, is going to be interesting, because it's not a rough and tough old Defender, but I am sure that it's going to be actually much better to travel in, to be honest, as much as I love my old Defender, because it's a lot more comfortable, and it's got modern cons like cruise control and aircon that actually works, and it doesn't leak in weather like this, and it's quiet, and it's going to be very interesting. I mean, a lot of people are traveling in Prados, Discovery 4s, what else? You know, all these sort of vehicles, Fortuners. And the way I look at it is, if they can do it in those vehicles, surely a new Defender can do it. So, if you'd like to get involved in the build, or if you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'll be very interested to hear. And then have a look at some of my previous videos and see the kind of trips that we do, and then give me your opinion. A lot of people say, yeah, but it's got air suspension. I've had 4 vehicles now with air suspension, and as long as you know how to use the air suspension, I believe you won't have problems. Look, it does fail sometimes, but it's not as bad as some people say. I mean, I've never had problems in 10 years of air suspension and off-road travel with towing some heavy trailers. But time will tell. We'll see what happens. Air suspension is not the be-all and end-all of an overland trip, and in fact I believe that it makes it actually even better, because you can have comfort. You can raise the suspension when you need to do a river crossing, or if you've got a high middle maniki, that's a middle island on a strip road in the bush. You know, there's lots of advantages. And also, if you don't overload your vehicle, generally the air suspension is fine. Where people make a mistake with air suspension is that they don't know its limitations and how to use it. So they'll put it at off-road height, and then they'll try and do 80-90 kilometers an hour down a bush track, and the vehicle will want to lower itself as a safety precaution, and then the people will slow down, and then the vehicle will pump itself up and lift itself up again once they reach slower speed, and that repeats itself many times. And then what happens is the pump actually overheats. It's exactly like your air compressor that you use to pump up your tires. It gets very hot when it pumps. So with the vehicle lifting and dropping depending on your speed for hours and hours while traveling, it is bound to fail, and it's bound to overheat. So, but anyway, that's another topic. So I hope you guys enjoy the series. I would really appreciate if you get involved, and if you make suggestions, and if you tell me I'm an idiot, that's fine. You know, be honest with me. You know, any suggestions and ideas can only help me. So please comment, let me know what you think. If you've got any ideas, even with regard to product, you know, for example, seat covers. Who do you think has got the best seat covers, and what seat covers should I use? Sorry, another thing I'd like to say just before signing off is that I really appreciate all the support. It's been amazing. You know, I've got so many comments, I've got so many people subscribing to the channel, and I really appreciate it. You know, this was meant to be a fun thing, and it still is going to be a fun thing. So, you know, if you want professional quality videos or proper car reviews, there's far better people than I to watch for that. But I wanted, my aim is to give you a realistic view of a Mr. Average that wants to do some bush trips and some camping with a Mr. Average vehicle. And you know, hopefully I can achieve that and show you that you don't need all the kit sometimes to go out into the bush. As an example, my grandparents moved out from Ireland, I think in the 50s or 60s, and they traveled around southern Africa in a Morris Minor with 7 children. So in those days there were no rooftop tents, fridges, anything like that, dual battery systems. You know, so if they could do it back in the day, we can certainly do it now. We don't need all the gizmos. Right now it's just nice to have all these gizmos, and nice to have all the fridges, so you can have a cold beer or a cold drink at the end of the day after a long trip. So yeah, please get involved, ask questions. I'm going to give you my opinions on products. I'm not going to review products, but I'll tell you if I think it's a waste of time. But remember, what's best for me is best for me. It doesn't mean it's best for everybody. So just remember, you know, I might turn around and say XYZ product is the best in the world, and you might turn around and say, geez, you tried it, it was absolutely useless. And just bear in mind, we have different needs and different wants, so it's going to be different for everybody. So please enjoy the series, and I look forward to your comments. No, but there won't be sound, don't worry. Okay. You can swear even.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you've test driven the vehicle, you're happy with its performance.
Yeah.
This one is over here was actually non-applicable. It's that you haven't test driven the vehicle, but you're aware of its performance.
Massive thank you to John from Land Rover Waterford for the excellent service. Okay, you've got me on my way home from work, sitting in Joburg traffic on tar and not in some far off destination in southern Africa, unfortunately. It's raining. I can tell you the new Defender doesn't leak like the old Defender, which is quite nice. It's actually very comfortable. The windscreen wipers don't make a noise. They're very quiet. Yeah, I'm sitting in a lap of luxury here. Yeah, so the plans are for this vehicle that I'm going to do the basics and see if we can get away with the basics first. So it will be dual battery system, sorting out carrying water, mainly for washing up. You know, we normally use bottled water for drinking. And then I'll look at sort of upgrades like to tires and things like that. I've also got to think about where we're going to sleep for those short stay trips where we stay in one place per night. Maybe one night in an area. You know, we'll probably use some sort of rooftop tent. I'm looking at several options there. Looking at maybe the iCamper, which seems like a great option. I do have some questions about it, like folding up in the rain and that, which doesn't seem to be an issue, but I'm not sure. The easier one, Stealth, which is a brilliant tent. The problem is it takes up too much real estate on the roof, so it doesn't leave much space for carrying things like water or wood for fires. And I'll see what else is in the market. I've lost a bit of touch, to be honest. So I'll see what else is available, and then we can decide from there. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to start with the basics, which would be battery, water, tires, paint protection, and maybe some seat covers, and then we'll see how it goes. And then obviously sleeping accommodation. Some of the places we go to is quite wild, and there's no facilities, like along Hunters Road. You would have seen in one of my previous videos. So I prefer to be off the ground there. Something else that's quite funny is that I don't know what's going on. Oh, there's somebody that's too close to me at the back, so that's why it's going off, warning me that there might be an accident. Wow. One thing I've worked out in 24 hours of ownership is the new Landy drivers don't wave at each other, and the old Landy drivers definitely don't wave at the new Landy drivers. So guys, if you see me waving, wave back. It's the Landy thing to do. So a bored Saturday afternoon, I thought I'd park with two vehicles together and show you some concerns that I do have. So for example, the mirrors, they're definitely going to get damaged, so I'm going to have to put paint protection. And then the undercarriage is plastic, and I'm going to have to put some sort of protection there also. One of the great features of this vehicle is this camera system. It's quite amazing actually. Even the brake lights are actually working. Your indicator, and you can change the angle to see where your tires are. It's actually quite amazing. You know, there's different angles that you can look at if you want to park next to a curb, and you can park pretty close. I was a little worried that she wasn't going to fit into the garage, but thankfully at access height she does fit in the garage with the roof rack on. In the next episode I'm going to show you how a dual battery system is fitted. I've already contacted G4 Accessories. They've done all my vehicles in the past, and they do really great work. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, so it's an honest opinion. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, cheers.